This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
Oil prices dropped on Monday after Iraq's Kurdistan region resumed crude oil exports via Turkey over the weekend, coupled with OPEC Plus plans for another oil production hike in November, adding to global supplies. Brent crude futures were down 43 cents, or 0.6%, at $69.70 a barrel, as of 0630 GMT, after settling at the highest point since July 31st on Friday. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was down 49 cents, or 0.8%, at $65.23 a barrel, giving back most of Friday's gains. Ongoing fears of production increase are limiting gains, but a tight near-term outlook has crude prices in a vice as the trading week begins, said Michael McCarthy, CEO of investor platform Moomoo Australia and New Zealand.
Terminal operators in a major oil port in East China's Shandong province are set to introduce measures to ban shadow fleet vessels and curb visits by other old tankers, according to an official notice seen by Reuters and the Tanker Tracker. The measures, to take effect from November 1st, would ban vessels using fake International Maritime Organization numbers and ships of 31 years or older, which traders said would target what is known as the shadow fleet that transports oil under Western sanctions. 4 terminal operators at Huangdao Port last week issued the notice, seen by Reuters, a month after the United States designated an oil terminal in nearby Dongjiakou Port as receiving Iranian oil carried by vessels under sanctions.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
Crude oil flowed on Saturday through a pipeline from the semi-autonomous Kurdistan region in northern Iraq to Turkey for the first time in 2.5 years, after an interim deal broke the deadlock, Kurdish broadcaster Rudaw reported. The agreement between Iraq's federal government, the Kurdistan regional government and foreign oil producers operating in the region will see 180,000 to 190,000 barrels per day of oil flow to Turkey's Ceyhan, Iraq's oil minister told Rudaw on Friday.
Workers at French LNG terminals will continue to block ships from discharging until their salary demands are met, 2 representatives with the CGT union said on Friday. The blockade at 3 out of 4 of the country's terminals has reduced gas outflows from one of Europe's top gas buyers and lifted prices this week. LNG terminal operator LNG has invoked force majeure at its 3 sites in France because of the month-long strikes and said no ships can discharge until October 2nd. Next, we have the top news in metal markets. Iron ore futures prices declined on Monday, pressured by sluggish steel demand and mounting inventories at Chinese ports. The most traded January iron ore contract on China's Dalian Commodity Exchange ended daytime trade 1.57% lower at 784 yuan, $110.11, a metric ton. The benchmark September iron ore on the Singapore Exchange was down 0.02% at $105.30 a ton, as of 07:05 GMT. Iron ore futures fell sharply last week as steel mills slowed down restocking ahead of the Chinese National Day holidays from October 1 to 8, analysts from ANZ said in a note.
Gold jumped to a record high above $3,800 per ounce on Monday, supported by a weaker dollar and growing expectations that the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates further this year. Spot gold rose 1.5% to $3,814.91 per ounce by 0624 GMT. U.S. gold futures for December delivery gained 0.9% to $3,844. The U.S. dollar index eased 0.2% against its rivals, making greenback-priced bullion less expensive for overseas buyers.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
Russia's government has decided to declare a federal-level emergency in the agriculture sector of the southern Rostov region as bad weather has caused massive loss of crops, local authorities said. In June, Rostov declared a regional state of agricultural emergency due to drought, which enables farmers to seek compensation for losses. Yuri Slyasar, Rostov governor, said that the federal-level emergency would allow new measures to support farmers. We discuss the emergency in detail at the highest level, with the President, with the Minister of Agriculture Oksana Lut, Slyasar wrote on the Telegram messaging app.
That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.